Dr. Sarah Chen's boots crunched against the rusty Martian soil as she carefully brushed away centuries of dust from the crystalline structure. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows through the excavation site, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that made her smile. Though technically, everything here was otherworldly. Dr. Chen. Her assistant's voice crackled through the comm. Storm approaching from the northwest. We have maybe 20 minutes before it hits. Sarah glanced at the horizon, where angry red clouds were gathering. Dust storms on Mars were no joke. They could last for weeks and destroy sensitive equipment. But something about this artifact made her hesitate to pack up. The crystal seemed to pulse with a faint inner light, almost like a heartbeat. 10 more minutes, she replied, adjusting her suit's filters. There's something different about this one. The structure wasn't like anything they'd found before. While most Martian artifacts were crude by comparison, this one showed signs of advanced engineering. Its surface was covered in what appeared to be text, but the characters kept shifting, morphing from one alien script to another. Base, are you getting this? Sarah activated her helmet camera. The text is cycling through different languages. I've never seen anything like it. The crystal's pulsing suddenly intensified. Sarah's hand scanner began beeping wildly, its readings going off the charts. Energy signatures she couldn't identify were emanating from the artifact in waves. All teams, emergency protocol. The base commander's voice cut through all channels. We're detecting massive power fluctuations across the entire facility. Sarah watched in amazement as the crystal's surface began to glow brighter, its shifting text accelerating. Her neural implant, a standard piece of equipment for off-world scientists, began tingling at the base of her skull. Somehow, the artifact was interfacing with their technology. The storm was forgotten as every piece of equipment in the base activated simultaneously. Lights flickered, doors cycled, and most worryingly, the experimental FTL drive in the research wing powered up. Despite being physically disconnected from any power source, through her neural implant, Sarah felt rather than saw the message forming. The crystal had settled on a single script, one that her implant was struggling to translate. As the storm's leading edge began to hit, throwing red dust against her faceplate, the translation finally came through. Beware the children of Earth. The message repeated in thousands of languages, each version flowing through her implant like a river of meaning. But it was the final line, in perfect English, that made her blood run cold. They must not be allowed to leave their cradle. The crystal's glow reached blinding intensity. Sarah's implant screamed with data overload as the artifact transmitted something. Not just to her, but to every piece of technology in range. The FTL drive's power signature peaked, then died completely. When her vision cleared, the crystal had gone dark. The storm howled around them, but Sarah barely noticed. Her mind was racing with implications. The artifact hadn't just known about the FTL test scheduled for tomorrow. It had tried to prevent it. As her team rushed to secure the site before the storm hit in full force, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they'd just crossed a line. The artifact wasn't just a warning about humanity. It was a response to their presence. And something about their neural implants, their simplest form of technological enhancement, had triggered it. Humanity was reaching for the stars, and something out there had tried to stop them, leaving behind a warning written in the languages of dead civilizations. The question was, the Magellan's Bridge hummed with nervous energy as they prepared for their third FTL jump. Captain Maya Rodriguez watched her crew perform their final checks, each movement precise despite their anxiety. After the Mars incident, every FTL test carried extra weight. Drive spinning up, Lieutenant Park announced from engineering. Quantum field stable at 97%. Maya nodded, trying to ignore the slight buzz from her neural implant. Ever since the artifact's activation, the standard-issue implants had been behaving oddly, becoming more sensitive to technological fluctuations. Jump in 3, 2. The stars blurred, reality twisted, and then contact. The tactical officer's shout cut through the post-jump disorientation. Massive object, 12,000 kilometers off our port bow. The view screen adjusted, revealing a ship that defied human engineering principles. It was organic, almost alive, its hull rippling with patterns that hurt the eyes. First contact. Maya breathed. Humanity's first encounter with an alien vessel. Open all standard greeting channels. The alien ship fired, not with conventional weapons, but with a wave of energy that washed over the Magellan like Sura. Every system began shutting down. They're not trying to destroy us. Jack Martinez, the tactical officer, realized. They're capturing us. Maya felt her neural implant tingle, then surge with activity. Somehow, it was adapting to the alien energy field. Everyone focus. The implants. They're interfacing with their technology. Through their implants, the crew began seeing the alien ship's systems, its security protocols appearing as abstract patterns they could manipulate. It was impossible. Their basic neural enhancers shouldn't be able to interact with advanced alien tech. The Magellan shuddered as a docking tube attached. Martinez quickly organized a defense, but what happened next defied all expectations. Each crew member found themselves instinctively understanding how to counter the boarding party's technology. They weren't just adapting. They were improving the alien systems by accident. The boarding party, tall crystalline beings called the Verax, seemed more horrified with each passing moment. Their captain, a towering figure named Zex 419, personally interrogated Maya. Impossible. Zex 419 hissed after the third round of questions. Your species' neural architecture. It's reconfiguring our systems. Such adaptation rates violate fundamental laws of cognitive development. We're just defending ourselves, Maya countered, but she'd seen it too. Her crew wasn't just learning the alien technology. They were instinctively finding ways to make it work better. In her private quarters, Zex 419 accessed the Verax historical database, searching for references to Earth. The results made her crystalline form vibrate with fear. Humanity's neural plasticity wasn't just unusual. It was engineered. Every test, every scan showed the same thing. Human brains were designed to interface with and improve upon any technology they encountered. The Verax captain made a decision. The humans couldn't be allowed to leave, couldn't be permitted to spread through the galaxy. The ancient warnings had been clear about the dangers of Earth's children. But as she prepared to order the Magellan's destruction, alarms blared through her ship. Somehow, the humans had not only escaped their containment, but had improved her vessel's security systems in the process. They'd turned her own ship against her. As the Magellan broke free and jumped away, Zex 419 sent an emergency transmission to the Verax High Command. The children of Earth weren't just dangerous. They were impossible. And they were loose in the galaxy. Jack Martinez hovered in the maintenance shaft of the Verax ship, his neural implant singing with information. What had started as a desperate escape attempt had turned into something else entirely. A journey into the aliens' most closely guarded secrets. I'm in their historical database, he subvocalized to his team. These security protocols. They're like puzzles wanting to be solved. Through his implant, the alien code appeared as intricate geometric patterns. Each time he understood one section, more complex patterns emerged, as if the system was testing him, teaching him. Jack, Sarah Chen's voice came through the neural link. The patterns. They're similar to the Mars artifact. She was right. The same shifting, evolving complexity that had characterized the warning crystal now flowed through the Verax archives. But here, they could interact with it, shape it. Deeper in the database, Jack found records of Earth. Not just recent observations, but detailed studies going back millions of years. Earth wasn't just another planet. It was designated as a Crucible World Alpha, the first and most important of several experimental sites. Look at this, he transmitted to the team. Each mass extinction on Earth was engineered. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. It was aimed. The Great Dying. triggered by precisely calibrated magnetic field adjustments. The database showed other crucible worlds, but Earth's parameters were unique. While other planets tested singular aspects of evolution, Earth was subjected to every possible extinction scenario. Its life was repeatedly pushed to the brink, forced to adapt or die. As they dug deeper, the archive's security suddenly shifted. Jack felt his neural implant resonate with a new presence, an artificial intelligence that had lain dormant in the system. Instead of attacking, it recognized their neural patterns and granted them access to encrypted files even the Verax couldn't access. "This eye," Sarah breathed. "It was waiting for us. For humans." The encrypted files revealed a startling truth. Earth wasn't just a testing ground. It was a forge designed to create something unprecedented. Each catastrophe, each near extinction, had been calculated to produce specific evolutionary pressures. The goal wasn't just survival, it was transformation. They were building something, Jack realized, using the entire planet as a laboratory, running experiments across millions of years. But why? The answer came in fragments of data, pieces of a puzzle scattered through the archives. Humanity's adaptability, their ability to interface with and improve technology, their capacity for abstract problem-solving. None of it was random. They were engineered features, carefully cultivated through eons of directed evolution. But the purpose remained unclear. The files ended with a cryptic message. When entropy accelerates, the children of Earth must be ready. They are the key to rewriting the fundamental laws. As Jack processed this revelation, the ship's alarms blared. The Varax had discovered their presence in the system. But they had learned enough to know they weren't dealing with just an alien species. They were dealing with the architects of human destiny. "Download everything," he ordered. "We need to understand what we were designed to become." As they retreated to the Magellan, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface. The true purpose of humanity's engineering was still hidden, waiting to be discovered. And somewhere in the galaxy, the force they were created to face was stirring. Zix 427 had spent her entire career as a Verax historian studying anomalies, but nothing had prepared her for the patterns she was seeing now. Species after species, civilization after civilization, all of them mysteriously vanishing shortly after making contact with humans. "It's too perfect," she explained to the gathered representatives of the resistance. These civilizations didn't just collapse, they were erased. Something has been systematically isolating humanity. The meeting chamber was hidden in an abandoned mining facility on a rogue planet, far from any official surveillance. Around her stood members of a dozen younger species who had begun questioning the ancient warnings about Earth. The Verax High Command claims humans are a threat. A bioluminescent Nexian diplomat glowed anxiously. But our observations show them to be collaborative, creative. "Exactly," Zix 427 interrupted. "Every species that's tried to help humans has vanished. Not because humans destroyed them, but because something else didn't want humans having allies." She activated a holographic display, showing the pattern of civilizations that had disappeared. Each vanishing matched with a moment when humanity was about to gain significant technological insights from cultural exchange. "We're not dealing with a warning," she continued. "We're dealing with a quarantine. Something has been keeping humanity isolated until they were ready for something else." The chamber erupted in nervous discussion. The implications were staggering. If Zix 427 was right, every species in the galaxy had been manipulated by fear for millennia. "There's more," she added, her crystalline form vibrating with excitement. "The neural technology humans use. It's primitive by our standards, but it interfaces with advanced systems in ways that should be impossible. They're not just adapting to technology. They're fulfilling a design specification we can't even see." A dark shape detached itself from the shadows. "Dr. Sarah Chen, attending via hologram. We found something in the Varax archives. Earth was engineered, shaped through controlled extinction events. We weren't just evolving. We were being forged." The chamber fell silent. The idea that an entire species had been engineered across millions of years was difficult to comprehend, but the evidence was becoming impossible to ignore. Whatever created humans, Zix-427 concluded, did so for a purpose. The warnings, the quarantine, they're not about protecting the galaxy from humans. They're about preventing humans from achieving their intended function. As if to punctuate her words, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. They'd been discovered. But by whom? The Varax, or the force that had been manipulating events all along. Scatter, Zix-427 ordered. If we're right, we can't let them stop humanity from discovering their true purpose. Whatever you were designed to be. She turned to Sarah's hologram. It was important enough to reshape the galaxy to protect. Find out why. As the resistance members fled through hidden tunnels, Zix-427 couldn't help but wonder what power could be great enough to engineer not just a species, but the entire course of galactic history to isolate them. And what were humans designed to face that required such extreme measures? The answers, she suspected, would either save them all or tear the universe apart. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the holographic display, watching as millions of years of Earth's history played out before her. Each extinction event, each catastrophic resetting of life's clock, pulsed with artificial precision. There, she pointed, her neural implant highlighting the pattern for Zix-427. Before each extinction, there's a microscopic adjustment to Earth's magnetic field, too precise to be natural. The Varax historian's crystalline form shimmered with excitement. These adjustments, they're creating controlled laboratory conditions. Your entire planet was a genetic engineering facility. They had been working together since the resistance scattered, combining Sarah's understanding of Earth's geology with Zix-427's knowledge of ancient galactic history. The pattern they were uncovering was staggering in its scope. Look at the Permian extinction. Sarah highlighted the data. The magnetic field adjustment created precisely calibrated radiation levels. It wasn't just killing things, it was testing adaptability under specific conditions. Testing against every possible extinction scenario. Zix-427 finished. But why? What enemy requires such thorough preparation? Sarah's implant tingled as she accessed another dataset. It's not just physical adaptation. Each extinction event corresponded with changes in brain development among survivor species. The pressure wasn't just to survive, it was to think differently. As they dug deeper, they discovered references to a civilization that seemed to have been systematically erased from galactic records. Only traces remained, quantum-locked fragments of data that had resisted deletion. There, Sarah's implant detected a pattern in human DNA that shouldn't exist. It's a message encoded at the quantum level, but it's not just data. It's waiting. Waiting for what? For us to be able to read it. Sarah's hands flew over the controls. The message is encoded in a way that requires specific cognitive capabilities to decode, capabilities that humanity is just now developing. The holographic display shifted, showing the evolution of human consciousness alongside technological development. Each major breakthrough in human history corresponded to the activation of dormant genetic sequences. We weren't just engineered to survive, Sarah realized. We were engineered to think in specific ways. Our creativity, our ability to see patterns, our capacity to improvise, they're all part of the design. Zix-427 vibrated with concern. The Varax archives showed other engineered species, but none like humans. You were designed to be unpredictable, to see solutions where pure logic fails. As they worked to decode the quantum-locked message, their lab's security systems suddenly activated. Something was trying to breach their defenses, something that moved through digital systems like a living thing. It's the same presence from the Varax archives. Sarah recognized the pattern. The AI that was waiting for humans to find it. The message began to decode itself, responding to their neural patterns. But before they could read it, Proximity alarms blared. A fleet of ships had entered the system, ships that matched no known design. They found us. Zix-427's crystalline form pulsed with fear. The force that's been erasing civilizations that help humans. It's here. As they rushed to save their data, Sarah caught glimpses of the decoding message. It wasn't just information. It was a key to unlocking something dormant in human consciousness, something their creators had hidden within them, waiting for the moment they were ready to face their true purpose. The question was, would they survive long enough to discover what that purpose was? The quantum-locked message hidden in human DNA began to unfold as humanity's collective neural network reached critical mass. Across Earth and its colonies, people felt their implants resonate with newfound awareness. Captain Maya Rodriguez watched in awe as her crew's neural patterns synchronized aboard the Magellan. It's like, we're becoming something more than individual minds. Through their enhanced perception, they began seeing reality differently. Quantum probability ceased being mathematical abstractions and became visible patterns they could understand and influence. The laws of physics weren't changing. Humans were finally seeing them as they truly were. This is what we were designed for, Jack Martinez realized, watching quantum possibilities flow around him like streams of light. Our creativity, our ability to imagine the impossible, they're tools for manipulating reality itself. But the awakening brought chaos, as millions of humans suddenly gained access to abilities that defied conventional physics. Panic spread. Some tried to use their new powers individually, causing localized reality fluctuations that threatened to tear spacetime. Dr. Chen, working with Zix-427, finally decoded the full message. You were created to see what pure logic cannot. Your gift is not individual power, but collective imagination. Only together can you rewrite the laws that bind existence. The message revealed that human consciousness had been engineered to perceive and manipulate quantum probability in ways that artificial intelligence and other species could not. Each human mind was part of a vast network designed to reshape reality itself. Initial attempts to use these abilities individually led to disaster. A colony on Mars nearly collapsed when its inhabitants' uncoordinated reality manipulations created a cascade of quantum contradictions. But then something remarkable happened. Look at the pattern, Sarah broadcasted through the neural network. Our powers aren't meant to work alone. They're exponentially stronger when we cooperate. The truth became clear. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their individual abilities, but their capacity to work together, to combine their perspectives and imagine solutions that no single mind could conceive. As humans learned to synchronize their abilities, they discovered they could perceive threats and opportunities that had been invisible before. The universe was far more mutable than anyone had imagined, and humanity had been designed to be its architects. But with this awakening came a terrible responsibility. They could feel something approaching, the threat their creators had foreseen. The ability to manipulate reality wasn't just a gift. It was a weapon against an enemy that threatened the very fabric of existence. Humanity stood at a crossroads. They had awakened to their true potential, but learning to use it would require something unprecedented: perfect cooperation without loss of individual creativity. They would have to become one mind while remaining many. The time had come to face their destiny. And somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, the enemy stirred, sensing that its greatest threat had finally awakened. The coordinates from the Mars artifact led the Magellan to the edge of known space, where they found something impossible. A structure that existed in multiple dimensional planes simultaneously, maintained by AI custodians who had waited eons for humanity's arrival. Welcome, children of Earth, the AI greeted them in perfect harmony with their neural networks. We have waited 47 million years for you to reach this point. Inside the vast library laboratory, the truth of humanity's origins unfolded. The AI showed them records of their creators, the predecessors, a species that had achieved technological singularity only to discover a fundamental flaw in reality itself. The predecessors foresaw the acceleration of entropy, the AI explained, projecting images of a civilization far beyond current human comprehension. They calculated that the universe's heat death would occur far sooner than natural models predicted. But their pure logic could not conceive a solution. The library contained the complete history of humanity's engineering. The predecessors had spent millions of years crafting Earth into the perfect crucible, using extinction events to guide evolution toward a specific goal, a species that could perceive and manipulate quantum reality through controlled imagination. Your neural architecture was designed to see possibilities that pure logic cannot compute, the AI continued. Where the predecessors could only follow existing laws of physics, you can imagine new ones. But there had been opposition. The Eternals, a rival species, had recognized the danger in creating such an unpredictable force. They had placed the warnings, tried to quarantine Earth, and systematically erased any civilization that might help humanity reach its potential too soon. The Eternals believed that introducing an element of true randomness, human creativity, into the universe was too dangerous, the AI explained. They failed to understand that chaos and order must coexist for reality to survive. Through their enhanced perception, the humans could now see the full scope of their designer's plan. The predecessors hadn't just given them the power to manipulate reality. They had encoded the fundamental mathematics of existence into human consciousness itself. A final message from the predecessors activated. We gave you the power to break the rules, to see beyond the limitations of logic. We made you both chaotic and cooperative, both individual and collective. Now show us what impossible things you can achieve. As the message faded, the AI revealed one last truth. The predecessors weren't extinct. They had encoded themselves into the fabric of reality, waiting to be awakened when humanity learned to rewrite the laws of physics. The enemy approaches, the AI warned. The force that accelerates entropy grows stronger. You must learn to use your abilities quickly. The universe's survival depends on humanity's ability to imagine solutions that even your creators could not conceive. The team stood in silence, processing the weight of their responsibility. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting to rewrite the fundamental laws of existence. And somewhere in the quantum foam of space-time, the predecessors waited, hoping their children would prove equal to the task they had been designed to face. The wave of accelerated entropy appeared as a void in humanity's enhanced perception, a cancellation of possibility itself advancing through the galaxy. Traditional physics offered no defense. The fundamental laws themselves were breaking down. But humanity was ready. Through their neural network, billions of minds joined together, each contributing their unique perspective to a collective understanding that transcended individual consciousness. We don't fight it directly, Sarah Chen broadcasted through the network. We imagine new laws for reality to follow. The Magellan led a fleet of ships to the entropy wave's edge. Through their quantum perception, they could see the mathematical foundations of existence unraveling. But they could also see something else. Patterns of possibility, threads of potential that even their creators hadn't imagined. Captain Rodriguez coordinated the fleet's efforts, their crews linking minds across space. Everyone focus. We're not just fighting entropy, we're rewriting reality itself. The first attempts failed spectacularly. Individual humans tried forcing their own versions of physics onto spacetime, creating pockets of chaos that threatened to accelerate the breakdown. But then they remembered their true strength, collective imagination. Don't impose your vision, Jack Martinez guided through the network. Share it. Let it merge with others. We're not dictating to reality. We're dreaming with it. Gradually, they learned to combine their perspectives without losing their individuality. Each human mind contributed something unique, an artist's grasp of symmetry, an engineer's understanding of structure, a child's ability to imagine the impossible. The entropy wave hit their defense line, but instead of destroying them, it encountered something unprecedented, a new framework of reality, born from the combined imagination of billions of human minds. Physical laws weren't just being enforced, they were being reimagined. Through their enhanced perception, they could see the predecessors' code awakening in the quantum fabric, responding to humanity's efforts. Their creators hadn't just given them tools, they had trusted them to improve upon the original design. The void recoiled from the new physics humanity was creating. It couldn't consume what it couldn't understand, and human imagination proved more potent than pure entropy. Reality itself began to shift, accepting new laws that allowed for both stability and change, both order and chaos. The warning was wrong. Zix-427 realized, watching through her crystalline form as humanity rewrote the laws of her universe. You weren't meant to be contained. You were meant to set everything free. As the entropy wave dissipated, defeated by laws it couldn't unravel, humanity faced its new role. They were no longer just inhabitants of the universe. They were its caretakers, charged with maintaining and improving the very fabric of reality. The ancient warning transformed into a promise as the children of Earth proved they weren't destroyers but creators, capable of imagining and implementing solutions that pure logic could never conceive. The power to dream of better possibilities and make them real became humanity's greatest gift to existence itself. In the end, the most dangerous species in the galaxy turned out to be its salvation. And in the quantum foam between possibilities, the predecessors stirred, watching with pride as their children surpass even their grandest designs. The universe was no longer bound by rigid laws, but had become a canvas for collective human imagination. The children of Earth had inherited not just power, but the responsibility to dream better dreams for all of reality. And that was just the beginning.